Good afternoon, listeners, and welcome back to another edition of the CitizenWolf audio podcast. Yes, I will be changing its name. You would hope a podcast would have audio, otherwise it's pretty damn fucking redundant. Welcome once again. Today we've got Tenen back on the show. He was really popular with everybody, so I decided to pull him back on, and it's the first podcast of 2022. How you going? How's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, not bad at all. So it's not going to be the same as last time. I could always interrogate Ten like he does in the Discord chats, like I always have with him every couple of days, where he throws memes at me.
I don't know. I didn't really prepare any British jokes for you, so.
That's a pity.
Yeah, it is actually. I did want to send you a bit of British appreciation.
British appreciation memes.
Yeah, I know it's insane, but I was going to talk about things like cheddar cheese is from England. It's pretty good.
Right.
I mean, there's some music from England that's cool, but then I was like, it just seems so disingenuous because I can't think of a lot of things,
So you like cheddar cheese and you like British music. Everything else is just terrible.
No, not a lot of it. There's Elbow, they're pretty cool, and Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes, and I think that's it.
just those two things.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. There's two bands and the cheese. There you go.
That's all you like. Everything else is just a lost cause, and
it's kind of piss, to be quite honest.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, rubbish.
Thanks for coming on for the show, by the way.
Yeah.
Just to give you a bit of context, folks, every 2 days, if Tenen doesn't give me a British meme or tries to mock me in the early hours of the morning, he hasn't met his quota. And if he doesn't meet his quota, he gets I don't know, something terrible happens to him. That's why he does it every 2 days. He has to mock me with a British meme every 2 days just to meet the requirements that he's set for himself. Otherwise, he just explodes.
The horrible thing that happens to me is that I get bored.
Oh, you get bored?
Yeah, if I don't cause stress or, make people feel bad or something during the day, I just don't feel like myself.
Is that a common thing? Does that happen all the time, or is it every now and then?
No, it's just with British people.
Oh, just with British people?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for clearing that up.
Maybe Swedish people, but their lives are suffering in general, so.
What, because of you, or just in general?
Have you been to Sweden, dude?
No, I haven't been to Sweden, no.
Don't. It's hardly any better than Britain.
Oh, right, okay. Have you actually been to Britain, by the way? Have you been over here?
No, I have not. I've been to Ireland. I hear that's kind of the same thing.
Well, I don't know. I've never been there either. I couldn't really clarify that.
Really, because that's the thing I say to British people, and they get really offended.
I've been to Ireland. Yeah. It's just as dreary as the rest of the British Isles.
Yeah, they get really mad, and I think it's funny.
You've got to be careful with that, honestly. Well, no, Brexit's put the kibosh on that one. I think I can't go anywhere really now without all the stupid passports and all that stuff.
I saw an article or something of Dutch customs taking sandwiches from British truckers or something.
Yeah, I saw that happened a few years ago. I think they tried to come back. They were delivering some stuff from the continent, and they had ham sandwiches, and because of the new imports on meats and stuff, raw meats, they were confiscated at the border, which was a bit petty, to be honest. But yeah, that did actually happen.
It kind of just seems like the Dutch were fuck you guys for leaving the union. I mean, it was a questionable move, but do you really have to take people's lunches? I mean, come on, they're truckers. Their lives suck already.
Yeah, I know, but it's like tit for tat, isn't it? But that's a separate podcast in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Fucking Brexit! Oh, get me all depressed and all that. I voted Remain, by the way, but just for context. But 52% in favour of leaving, 48% staying. So it was literally a coin toss, basically. 52-48. But there you go.
But yeah, that's enough politics.
Yeah, you read that as a shit post, basically. No way could that be real. But yeah,
it was real.
Yeah, that did actually happen. That genuinely did happen. I remember that a couple of years ago. That
is so stupid.
But yeah, enough about the politics. Like people are switching off already in their droves already. All 3 of them just turned off now. Sorry. please come back. We'll talk about regular stuff now.
3 people listening. You think that's kind of generous, don't you?
2 people, maybe one person.
Me and you.
Oh, just me and you and and somebody else. So how's the art thing coming along? And working on anything interesting?
Yeah. I mean, I am trying my hardest to get my my comic to 100 pages by the end of the year, and I'm also working on a secret project that only people in my server know about. That's also a comic. It's a very long one that I hope will also be done by the end of the year, but I'm not sure because I'm writing the I'm not writing it. I'm actually like making the storyboard for it, and it's
storyboard, yeah.
Coming like I've estimated it to be 150 pages based on the points that I wanted to get through the story, but it's looking more like 250 right now.
That's ambitious, that's for sure.
Yes, but it's going to be in a more simpler style than Things Change. It's going to be like limited to black, white, and maybe 3 other colors. So it will be very stylized in a way, and it will feature at least 2 characters people like a lot. So I'm looking forward to people's reactions. But if that comes out during the year, it'll come out the entire thing and in one go. It won't be like Things Change that I update continually. Like, it will be just a huge chunk. Everything will come out at once.
Hopefully, if things go to plan.
I mean, there's a decent chance that, school will have to take over. I might have to work extra hours at work, and it won't line up. But Things Change will have 100 pages by the end of the year. I'm pretty dead set on that.
Is Things Change the one where like you're planning to like shorten it down, or is that a different one? I'm thinking of different comic.
I don't know if I've talked about shortening anything down, but Things Change is the one with the zebra. Like, it's the slice of life kind of comic that I've got going on.
Yes.
And it's at 40 something now pages, I think. I think 47 is the last one I released, and I've got 48 pretty much ready. It's waiting to be posted, and 49 and 50 are in the works. They're sketched up, some lines done, Yeah.
So you have the outline already done, but you do like a couple of pages at a time, like, and release them like a couple at a time. How do you do it? The
thing with Things Change is that it's not so much a story in the traditional sense. You have, in typical stories, you have like the hero needs to slay the dragon, blah blah blah, he gets the girl. It has a structure and like a way to go there. But Things Change is more like just a situational comedy thing that's character driven. So the idea is basically to have a lot of characters that interact with each other and put themselves in different situations, and then I have certain milestones that I want to get to story-wise, and right now that's the backstories of the characters. Yeah. So we saw Patricia's backstory, and now we're working through Abel's story, and it's been pretty happy up until these backstories came out, and I just kind of dumped it on everyone that this story isn't exactly, or like, these characters aren't exactly what they seem to be, because you see these as young adults that just kind of ended up together, and you don't really think a lot about it, but behind it there's more. It comes from something I talked about with my girlfriend about it, and that's when you have a slice of life comic, you can't be funny all the time, because that was my design philosophy in the start. I wanted each page to have something funny or something that would be a gag, like something silly happening. But then my girlfriend just said, life isn't always fun. It isn't always like that. So if you're going to have a slice of life comic, you should implement things that are sad or depressing or aggravating. You kind of have to show these characters from all the sides of life in order to kind of make them more believable and human. And that's kind of what we're working through here. And I am tackling some pretty heavy subjects. The first was more about, pressure to succeed, kind of working through school or something like that, things that you aren't necessarily interested in order to please your parents more so than what you want to do. Your parents have a lot of expectations of you, and you don't want to fill those things, and the things you work with, you find them so boring that you end up doing something stupid just to entertain yourself.
Yeah.
Which ends up ruining your prospects that you have worked for and disappointing your parents even further. That's kind of the first story what it was about. And the second story that we're working through right now it's kind of the same thing with disappointing your parents, but it's also going to be more about challenging your parents' worldview, finding yourself, and kind of breaking the mold that you've been in, because Abel himself is a very lonely guy. He doesn't have a lot of friends, he doesn't have a lot of social skills, but then he finds this one thing that he's actually good at with a lot of new people that he might not necessarily know, and he starts enjoying it a lot. But of course, it ends up crashing down on him, and that is how he ends up in the story at all, And the other two are even darker, so look forward to that.
Do you ever get like writers or artists block when like thinking of like the story or the overview of like what you're trying to do with the comic?
Yes, but in my case it's more of I wouldn't say I get a block a lot of the time. It's more like I'm spoiled for choice.
Oh, okay.
Because I think we talked about this in the last podcast, but like I am not, the typical artist on Twitter that like complains about, oh, I hate drawing is the worst, and I can't ever think of ideas that I want to do. All of that stuff is like completely foreign to me, because for me it's like I have too many ideas and I don't know which ones are the ones I should work on.
Yeah.
And that comes in true when I'm working on stories too, because for me making a story is like walking in a path with that like splits off into like maybe 20 different directions, and I have to decide which one will be best, like which one is the one I want to do, which is the one that will be best for the story, that kind of thing, And you have to kind of try and remove some of the things that you really want to be in the story, because you like the idea, but it won't be good for the actual, story. Like
which is
the
progression sort of thing.
Yeah, which was there was a gap with Things Change where I like kind of updated really slowly, and I took a break from it because I wasn't sure about should I like do this whole segment where they all talk about their past lives, because there's 4 characters, they all have pretty long backstories, and I'm trying to like compress them as much as possible while they still function as small stories on their own. And it's also like I don't want to fall into the trap of making my characters like trying to make people sympathize much with my characters. I don't want to make them be like, oh, this poor baby, like even though a lot of people do react that way. That's not the intention necessarily. It's more like I'm trying to kind of justify their personalities more so, and how they've overcome those troubles in a way. you have a person that's very shy and reserved, and you'll see that their past is a lot about them failing socially or having troubles expressing themselves, and that led to pain and things like that. And then you have somebody who's overcome it, like Patricia, for example, where she used to be very calm and very methodical about things, but she hated it, and then she broke free from it after a traumatic experience. And a couple years back, she's more outgoing, she's more direct with what she wants, she's learned from it. That's kind of the vibe that I want to go for.
Is there any topics that you found difficult to portray in a comic, or anything that you might find or people might find taboo in some way?
I mean, I think these next coming pages might put some people off, because it kind of falls within a kind of sensitive subject for some people, and it has a lot to do with gender identity. And I think a lot of people they kind of want to see something that isn't really there, and that could make people disagree with each other. And that's simply Abel's gender identity, because he's a guy, but he cross-dresses, and he really enjoys cross-dressing. He enjoys pretending to be a girl. And then I feel that maybe a lot of people will try to push for the fact that he has a female gender identity, which is not the case at all. He doesn't really have one. He doesn't adhere well to either of them. So to him, it doesn't really matter. Like, when he cross-dresses, he enters a different personality more so. It's kind of like a Superman thing, the dress makes the man, isn't that what they say? No, the suit makes the man, or something like that. I don't know. But
something like that. I can't picture it. I know what you're on about. I can't think of it either.
Yeah. But that's kind of the idea that he has a bad image of himself as he normally is. So when he takes on this different persona, he gets a better view of himself. He gets more confident. He can participate more in social interactions, and I just hope that people won't try to paint him as having gender dysphoria or anything like that. Because while I think that's an important subject and that it should be explored in stories, that's not what's happening here. And I just hope that won't be a thing that happens. And I'm also dealing with people that are intolerant of his lifestyle, and I'm going to write some slurs in the comic, because I feel like that's realistic. If somebody's intolerant of someone, they're probably going to be using language that is not appropriate to use say to someone.
Palatable, yeah.
Yeah, it's not good, but it's not realistic not to say them, I feel.
Yeah. Hey folks, it's Future CitizenWolf here. Just a quick editorial message before I let you guys move on to the rest of the podcast. Just a little message in regards to the upcoming section, DERPIBOORU comments. Now, this little section is basically just me and Ten having a bit of fun, poking fun at some of the strange and weird comments that he received on his own artwork. But I would like to stress this. Please, folks, don't use this as an excuse or an opportunity if you like to go around harassing anybody. That is not our intention at all. It's just a little bit of fun me and Ten had at the commenters' expense. I've removed any names that I've come across if we've name-dropped anybody, and I've censored all the names that I've come across in the final recording. But please, don't go around harassing anybody or replying to comments or anything like that, or going on to Ten's artwork and starting a comment war. That is not my intention at all, or Ten's intention for that matter. It was just a bit of harmless fun, making fun of, in general, some of the strangeness that some folk come up with. So please don't do that. Just a little message, just a bit of fun. I'll let you listen to the rest of the podcast. Thank you for listening. Do you want to take a little bit of a break? Do you want to segue into DERPIBOORU comment, if you want?
Well, I mean, we can go from one scourge of humanity to another.
just a bit of context for listeners out there. I did 10. I can't remember when this happened was. It was I think like the other day, like he started sending me. No, I'll try to remember what it was. Oh yeah, I was asking if there's any alternatives to uploading art, because I was thinking about maybe DERPIBOORU is not the best place to upload artwork because a lot of the you just get strange comments all the time. But then like you catalogued a few of yours that you got on your artwork, and you got some right corkers. But and so I did like you sent me a few over, and I did like a stupid video where I did the voiceover, and it's in the show notes if you want to watch it. It's unlisted, but like it's a stupid little video for a bit of context, but you can watch it if you want. But there's a few on there that like still boggle the mind, and like why don't understand the meaning of them.
I mean, it like seems to me to be like certain DERPIBOORU people, like accounts, and I suppose anons too, that just kind of browse and just say the first thing that comes to mind. It seems that way, and I don't know what to make of it, to be quite honest. Sometimes they post things that I don't understand, or sometimes they just say stuff that's like purely offensive to the artist of the making, and sometimes it's something that I can't stop thinking about. Like the comment that sort of started this whole thing is on a page, like on a drawing I made where my character Kolpa, who is a unicorn for context, is standing quite soundly on the ground, walking towards the camera. And some guy just typed out unicorn fly. No, nothing else. And it's 3 years ago, and I'm still thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it ever since you showed me that one. I can't understand the logic or the. What were they thinking of that?
Yeah, well, what is it? What do you mean fly? There's like nothing flying.
Or is it fly like a rabbi sort of thing, like fly as in cool, I guess? Is that what they meant?
Maybe? Or, I mean, like, is it, like, unicorn? Like, you start thinking, like, do you mean like a fly, like the insect? That doesn't make any sense either.
No, because if you look at the picture, like, there's nothing that connotates insect anywhere. I don't understand that.
Because, like, I was thinking, like, fucking Kolpa has a weird horn. It's like shaped like a pyramid, and it's black compared to her white body, which is not the way, you know, you expect things to be. Like, it's kind of, it's not the orthodox design of a unicorn, at least in this fandom. And I thought maybe it has something to do with that. Yeah, and I think the funnier thing about the entire thing is just like how that picture, it has two comments, and that's like the paradigm, I feel, of DERPIBOORU comments.
The duality.
Like,
the duality.
Yeah, it shows the what you can expect. There's one guy talking about something you do not understand at all, and there's another guy talking about the picture, because the other guy is like, oh, very nice latex rendering. You can really see her shapes, and yeah, good. I like this, you know. And then there's this other guy just
unicorn fly,
type something, and then just, you know, went on with his life. And he's an anonymous person too, so you can't really contact them, you know, and see if they're okay.
They're clearly not okay though, are they?
No, they're not.
It's like a stream of consciousness thing, I guess. Maybe like there's nothing in the art that links to that specifically. I can't think of what they mean with that.
No,
unicorn fly. What does that mean? What does it? Is it a negative comment? Is it a positive comment? I don't know.
Is it just purely descriptive? Like, is this guy just saying what he's looking at? Because some DERPIBOORU comments are like that. They're like, you just like scroll, just find some whatever big artist who has drawn like a stupid, like play, not stupid. I'm saying stupid, but I don't really mean to call it stupid, but like just like a very sexual picture that's like plain, and then somebody's just gonna be like, "Oh, Fluttershy hot," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, fine." I mean, that's a positive comment. It's purely descriptive. You're not saying anything that we don't already know, but sure, it's an okay comment. But unicorn fly, what the fuck is it?
Like it's one of those like great mysteries where like it's weeks and weeks and weeks later I'm still trying to figure out in my off time what they meant by that, and I still can't.
I mean,
I've gotten nowhere with that.
No, I mean, and I want to reply to the comment, but it's also like, okay, so one thing's gonna happen. I'm not gonna get a reply, and I will still have this mystery. Number two, I get a reply, and the answer is disappointing, and I won't have the mystery anymore.
You want to keep it as a mystery.
Yeah, yeah, I do. Like
that's the key thing.
Yeah, like fucking. If we knew that this goes, I just got high one night and I typed that out. I'm sorry, I forgot about this or something like that.
It's probably something. Maybe I don't.
But then your mug won't be as funny anymore.
Oh, yeah, I've got to talk about the mug, haven't I? Like, I joked that where's the unicorn fly merchandise? Where's my mug? Where's my T-shirt? And so, like, you came like I think like half an hour. I said like unicorn fly. What does that mean? Then where's the merchandise? Where's the mug? And then half an hour later, like you came up with like you just like did like a screenshot of the comment and put it on Redbubble. Like we can have mugs made, and I bought a mug. And it does exist. So I sent pictures. Like there's the mug. I don't know. Like it hasn't like opened a Nether portal yet, so I might have gotten lucky on this one. But you know. It's just such a strange artifact that now exists.
Yeah.
What does it mean? I don't know.
It certainly is a conversation starter, at least for people that are kind of in the know.
Oh, definitely. It's that I don't think none of them will ever beat that one though. It's just how mysterious it is and how obtuse it is and how out of context it is.
It has an aura to it. Like it's just like something kind of intimidating about it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you mean. But it's something. It's like you don't know what its intentions are. It's like it's one of those strange art pieces. Okay.
I feel like you could make like an SCP article on it. Like
it's bizarre. It's bizarre. I don't think none of my commenters have ever come close to that, but that is definitely that's a peak if I've ever seen one. It's crazy. Any other particular? Oh, there's that one with the forklift. That's another favourite of mine.
Oh man, that is one of the best. Like it is so fucking funny and self-defeating.
What's the context beyond that one then?
Okay, so I mean, I'll do the entire context of the picture.
People who like listen at home, I'll put links to these particular pictures in question in the show notes, so you can actually get context of what pictures we're looking at. But yeah, so what's the story behind the forklift truck then? That's another weird one.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, this is with my characters Patricia and
describe
Abel
the picture. Yeah.
From my comic, Things Change, and Patricia is driving the forklift because she has a reputation of being kind of a reckless driver sometimes, and Abel is hanging on for dear life. And it's a forklift, so I had to put like a giant dildo on the forks. Yeah, and they're going off a ramp in the desert. And I think the reason why I put it in a desert because I was listening to Desert Cruiser by Truck Fighters when I was drawing this, which is like a very it's a song you can drive fast to. I'll just say that.
Gotta go fast.
Yeah, and then this guy called right here. Good name, by the way. He just says that most forklifts don't have doors. That is the only issue with this picture.
That's the only he got really specific thing to be offended about.
Yeah, like it's like, oh, you don't like the doors? I'm sorry. You know what I did to draw this picture? I googled forklift and I took the first one that I liked the look of and I drew it. It had doors. And it's like most forklifts don't have doors.
But most of them don't have doors. But then he goes on to say, but some do have doors. So
Yes, like most don't have doors. That implies that some forklifts have doors. Perhaps this is one of those that have doors.
yeah, and I did Google it. Like, that's not like no way. Yeah, there do exist forklift trucks with enclosed doors on them. Like
Yes.
if the cabin has to be like sealed off.
Yeah, but
It
like
would have fucking doors on it.
I mean, this is just like one of those entry doors. It doesn't have a sealed off thing, but those exist too because I found a picture of them. And if you Google forklifts and you look long enough, you'll find some with doors but no windows. And I'm also like, does it matter?
Yes, it
Does
does
it
matter.
matter?
The accuracy of the forklift truck is paramount.
There is no forklift that I know of that can go off a ramp with what is probably at least a ton of silicone on the forks. I mean, like, that has to be heavy as hell. Not to mention that there's a unicorn and a zebra whom both can talk.
None of them are flagged up. Those are perfectly fine.
They're perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that.
The forklift leaves a lot to be desired, you know.
I should have just changed it to something else, I guess. Or just remove the doors.
Then it would be perfect.
Yeah,
so strange. It's so strange.
This is also one of those comments that have kind of been living rent-free in my head for a while.
It's like I always get a kick out of like, oh, is a great. When you show me these on Discord, they're just amazing. Some of these.
A very recent one I got is from the latest Things Change page that is out by the time that we're recording this anyway. Is the last two panels is Abel leaning back on his chair and it tipping over, and I got another strange comment about that, and I really did not expect this comment at all because like this is just a gag, all right? Like this is just,
of course.
He's trying to show off his leggings, and he makes a comment about the fact that people aren't sure if he's a guy or a girl, and then he makes a joke about, you know, my leggings are so tight, they don't sell these to men. If I had a dick, it would be so small that, you know, I might as well be a girl. So, you know, he just tries to make a joke about it at his own expense, and he falls over, and then this guy for some reason comments this. Yeah, those chairs don't have so great locking mechanisms. You try lift your legs up like that and put that much weight on the backrest that it's exactly what is going to happen. The locking gear will slip, the backrest will pop all the way back, and you'll follow the backrest. Then with that center of gravity, the chair will tip over. Top-notch realism, 10 out of 10.
Maybe that person's related to the person who doesn't like the forklifts with doors on them. I don't know. Maybe.
But I mean, like, did you just explain to me how a chair tips over? Do you not think I understand that? I drew it.
That's crazy.
Like, are you like offended by the audacity of producers of chairs that they can tip over? I mean,
you got to look up your chair knowledge, Ten. That's their issue. They've got, you know, your chair knowledge is not up to speed.
Like, I don't know what this like. He's doing the top-notch realism 10 out of 10. That sounds sarcastic in the end, you know. And I'm like, what did you want me to do?
It's such a waste of time to do that as well. The time to type that out, like a whole paragraph.
Yeah, it's a paragraph of a guy explaining how a chair tips over, and I've had these like Dude Bro gaming chairs for very long now, and it's never tipped over ever, and I've leant back on it quite a lot. It's nice to recline and watch a movie in, and I just never had an issue with them. I just did this as a joke because there's gonna be a lot of serious things in the next, you know, pages, and I want to put some jokes in there, something that's fun.
Yeah.
And I did not intend for anyone to take that scene so seriously. It was not a bit or an attack on chair manufacturers. It was, I mean,
fuck those chair manufacturers.
I mean, yeah, there's some. I do some social commentary in my comics. That's true. I have pointed out certain ridiculousness with certain fetishes. If you pay close attention,
they don't elicit a response like the forklift and the chair.
Yeah, it was like I don't have any beef with chair manufacturers. I don't know why where you got this from, or why you yourself are so offended by chairs. or you, I don't know. Like this is kind of
how are you supposed to respond to that? It's just,
yeah, I don't know what to say.
Like it's very odd. It's not like there's a difference between like critique and like critique. I'll put my teeth in. Critique is useful where people come back to say maybe the lighting could do with a bit of a work, or like maybe the camera angle's not that sort of stuff makes sense, right? You could take that on board and improve for next time. But that sort of stuff is just what? It's like it's such a strange subject matter to comment on, or what are you supposed to say to that? You like do better next time, Ten. You got to like do a better chair. I don't know. Do a better forklift.
I suppose I kind of want to like further down in the comic for him to like have a chair that can't tip over or something.
Oh, that'd be amazing. As
just
like
make a reference to that comment. Like he gets like your super badass chair. Like those bottles, that you can't tip over or something like that.
It has like a gyroscope in it where like it can't tip over or something. Yeah.
Yeah. He like spends a lot of money on a chair.
He spends like 10,000 bits on like a chair that like super gyroscopes that can't tip over because of centrifugal force or something like that. That's an idea you could maybe for your next comic or whatever. You've got to include that somewhere. Along with a forklift with no doors on it. No doors on it. Can't have any doors on it.
Yeah, I kind of want to do that. Like maybe later in the series, Patricia and Abel visit a factory somewhere or something, and two characters have a long argument about how there shouldn't be any doors on the forklifts,
or the suspension on it or whatever needs adjusting or whatever. Something stupid and trivial like that,
Yeah. Like it's like a factory where they produce chairs that don't tip over, and they are
and forklift trucks, bizarrely.
Yeah, and no, they make they make chairs that can't tip over and forklift doors, not anything else.
The chair and forklift company.
No, the chair and forklift door company. They don't produce forklifts. They just
they only
doors.
Produce the doors for the forklift.
Yeah. I think I might do that.
That's
it's like a background gag somewhere.
It's like there's definitely potential in that. Definitely, I would say.
Yeah, like
yeah.
I want to have scenes where they like walk out in the city and you can see some of the industry. Like there's this megacorp I like to just call Fuck Corp. It's like my universe is Acme Inc. corporate, like from
like Looney Tunes,
yeah, and they just own everything and they do a lot of stupid shit with their wealth. Like you can see they have a stream where they try to blow up the ocean in one of my comic strips.
Yeah,
they just want to do stupid shit like that, and I thought like you should have some funny store names if they're walking in the city or doing something like that. Like I want to have like some references to video games on there. Like I really like Saints Row. They have all these clothing stores with a lot of funny names, and since there's a lot of goth clothing that they wear, I want them to go to the store Nobody Loves Me from SimCity. No, fucking Saints Row. Yeah, that's what it's called. That's like the goth shop in that, like, and I think that was always really funny to have a goth shop called Nobody Loves Me.
Yeah,
stuff like that. And then I want like maybe in the distance you can see like the untippable chair and forklift door company or something like that.
There's definitely an idea in there. Definitely, like file that for later. That as an idea.
So DERPIBOORU comments, they're good for something. It just depends on how you look at them.
stream of consciousness, I suppose, that some people have, I guess, and they just post it on the internet. And there was that one more, wasn't it? The one about like fiberglass. That was the other one. Eating fiberglass is good for you.
Yeah, no, like that's not. I don't think that was his message actually, but it kind of brings me to another category of DERPIBOORU comments.
Oh yeah,
and that's
sure.
just people that overshare.
Oh yeah, overshare. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like it's because like I have this character called Deadmeat, which is kind of a kooky and weird character that I made on a whim one night, and she's basically just a creature that feels all pleasure, like all pain, discomfort, anything, just feels like pleasure on crack to her. You know, like it feels really good to her to be stabbed, beaten, maimed, you know, shot with a rifle and stuff like that. And so she's kind of been a character that I've been building on, and before we get into the comment, I just want to say that I made her as bait for people to call me an edgelord. And
right.
And it backfired like hell because people loved her. Like, I was like, okay, this is just going to be like a stupid character. I'll make her as edgy as possible. You know, black hair, white, like chalk white skin, red eyes, and she loves blood and gore, you know, and just make her that way. But people fucking loved her. And like across the board, nobody, like everybody loved her, and I'm like, I guess I played myself, really.
You kind of did there.
Yeah. So, but you know, I still enjoy it. I think she's a very fun character. I really love what she's become, and the recent development is that, you know, she really likes to eat meat. Like that's her dinner, that's her sustenance. She thinks it's really nice. But like the things that are like junk food and candy to her are things that, you know, are otherwise poisonous, but not necessarily food. And the first thing I decided to do this was fiberglass, because I had a funny idea with how fiberglass could be like cotton candy or something.
Yeah.
So I drew her eating fiberglass out of like a paper cone, like you get cotton candy in. And there's this guy behind her that's like, hey, what are you doing? Are you insane? This is a helmet, son. He just like slaps the helmet on her, like it doesn't react to eating the fiberglass, but it's important that she's wearing a helmet while she's doing it because it's like a construction site.
Right.
And then this guy comes in the comment section and he's like, and this is what he says: "You might be surprised to learn that eating fiberglass actually wouldn't be that bad. Your worst symptoms could have been intestinal blockage, but otherwise you'd most likely just have digestive discomfort for several days, and you have a high likelihood of respiratory irritation. But like, you'd live."
Speaking from experience.
Yeah, and I asked him, are you speaking from experience? How did you stumble upon this information? And the guy responded, and keep in mind, this is a background pony, so he has no need to share this information at all. He could just leave. I don't know who this person is.
You got a response back. That's something.
Yeah, I got a response back from that guy. He has no obligation to respond to me at all. But he says basically that, and I won't read this entire thing here, but there was a kid at his cousin's family that was, you know, sleeping somewhere, and the house was being redone, and he ate some rock wool, and then the symptoms that he described previously was what happened to him. And, you know, thanks for taking the time to give me this information. I don't know what to do with it at all.
You wasn't expecting a response, but you got one.
And also, it's like the point of her eating, I never said or never implied that dead meat would die from eating the rock wool or the fiberglass. I never implied that.
That's the thing. It was more of a throwaway idea you sort of had, and then like it sort of snowballed into something.
It was literally a guy in our server that I posted some dead meat drawings, and he was like, "Oh, draw her eating fiberglass or something like cotton candy." I was like, "Hey, that's a good idea. I'm gonna do that. I have a joke for that, you know." And then I did, and now I have this information. So yeah, everybody, if you want to eat fiberglass, you can.
You can.
You can.
Very helpful health tips there on this podcast. It's sort of that person was waiting for a very specific picture to appear on the website just to post that information. It's and like he got the opportunity.
I guess a lot of people have a lot of experiences and not a lot of people to talk to, and that's how.
It won't kill you, but no, maybe not straight away, no, but you can eat it.
I mean, that's like the dose makes the poison, right? Like,
Yeah. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. You won't die immediately, but you will eventually.
I mean, you can definitely not eat fiberglass, you fucking idiot. You cannot eat fiberglass. That's the joke.
It's just like the irony just didn't hit at all.
No, it's like he just. I mean, I'm pretty sure that he just wanted to share that information. You know, like, I mean, I work at a store part time while I'm studying now, and there's a lot of people that are obviously quite lonely, I think, you know, and they come up and they just tell you weird shit. Like, I never remember anything of it because it's all really freaking mundane stuff that I can't remember. And it always has to do with food because it's a store with a lot of food. So I think people just look at things and they get reminded of things that have happened, and then they feel like sharing it. But I mean, like, this is a comment that's relatively harmless. I don't really mind them. I just find they just kind of weird me out. I mean, this is a lot better than the DERPIBOORU comedians.
DERPIBOORU comedians.
Yeah. They're about as funny as a broken bone. Like,
yeah.
Like there's this one picture I had that's not safe for work, so I don't know if you will show this. But basically what it is somebody getting a hand job under the table, and
right, yeah,
but there's no actual explicit imagery in the thing. I kind of wanted to try to make something that was arousing to some people, but not actually draw anything that is directly sexual.
Yeah.
And there's basically mostly implied things that you'll only understand for context. And this guy just came out and be like, "Them bitches stealing his dick juice. Can't have shit in Detroit." Or Detroit. He actually wrote.
No,
I guess that's like Manhattan or like.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Saddle Arabia or.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Oh my god, those names suck so much, man. Oh my god, they're awful. But like, this is like so purely unfunny. It's almost offensive.
Oh my god, I can't believe they said that.
Them bitches be stealing his dick juice. Can't have shit in Detroit.
It's like, were they trying to role play or something? Or what? I don't get it. Were they trying to role play with you specifically?
I certainly hope not, because on my profile it's actually it says that I don't role play. At least I think so.
I'm trying to think of a comparative thing on my channel. I guess not on my channel. My art. They don't like anthro stuff. I've noticed. Like, don't post anthro without tagging it. That's another issue. Like, forget to put one stupid tag in the tags. Like, and you forgot to put anthro. Tag it stuff properly. Like, have you got anything better to do than spend all day on DERPIBOORU and tag it?
Dude, like that. That is another category. It's the tagging
category.
Tagging police.
The tagging police, right?
Yeah, and like, so like they'll often just come and be like, this is more like questionable more than explicit because you can't really see any genitals. Like, and like, yeah, but you know, they are clearly having sex, dude. I mean. So yeah, probably the height of annoyance, I feel, because they're just people that think they're smarter than you, I suppose.
That's DERPIBOORU in a nutshell, I think.
It's also so funny because like if you usually when you go to their profile, they're like somebody that has a lot of like activity on everything on DERPIBOORU. Like, you can see what all they're doing, but their fucking like posting artwork is like flat. Like, they don't really contribute anything other than tagging stuff. which, I mean, I have an appreciation for people that are like information savvy. They really like to categorize and sort things out. I love those kinds of people when they're helpful, when they're helpful. But when they're gonna be up in your ass about it, that's when I don't like them so much. And that goes for everyone, really. But I don't really get a lot of those people. It's just like every now and again, some person will be like, questionable, oh really, or this is grotesque because there's some blood on the floor there, or something like that.
It's a bit it's tedious. That's what it is. It's tedious.
Yeah, it's like I'm following the descriptions as best as I can, and if you disagree with them, well, I guess you do. But
it's like as soon as you upload something on DERPIBOORU, like you put a load of tags on there, like you've pretty much done the homework. You think you've got everything, but then like 5 minutes later, a few more tags have appeared on this. So it's like, and like you sometimes get a comment like you didn't forget to tag this, like all that sort of. Like I spend like about good 20 minutes like tagging everything into minute detail, and then still like if you don't like a particular tag, then hide it. I don't understand. Just hide it if you don't want it to appear in your listings. I don't understand that.
I suppose that's why they're complaining about people not tagging things correctly, because they have that tag hidden. And then it comes up on their feed anyways, because there's one tag that that they have watched, but wouldn't appear if you had tagged that other thing. I guess that's why they're complaining. But it's also like, when you're on the internet, you kind of have to expect that sometimes something you don't want to see is gonna come on your screen.
Yeah, that's inevitable.
Yeah, it's if you're a person that for whatever reason doesn't like Anthro at all, well, you do you. But if you see Anthro art that's not tagged like it, perhaps it's your mission then to tag Anthro on there. Right?
Get it out of view.
Maybe you can do a service for your fellow Anthro
anti-Anthro
I guess Anthro people. Just do them the service. You don't have to harass anyone. You can just, put the tag there. If it makes you so angry that you have to see some Anthro artwork every now and again, go to the gym.
Go outside.
Yes, do something.
It's a nice day out.
Just channel that energy elsewhere, dude. Like if you have enough energy to just go harass someone on the internet, or I mean, I suppose maybe not harass, but maybe like minorly inconvenience or minorly irritate someone on the internet, you can use that energy for a lot of other good things. I guess it comes down to like people are toxic in video games, and stuff like that. Like some people just don't want to improve, and I've
got nothing better to do. I think that's more of an issue.
Yeah, things like maybe this is the only thing that makes them happy. Maybe that's the
making them like an arse of themselves on the internet. That's their goal.
Yeah, I guess so. I suppose a lot of people will just browse the internet and assume that whatever they find is for them. Like whatever like comes up on my screen was somebody wanted me to see this. Yeah, and then they'll. So I guess it comes from a fundamental misunderstanding of how the internet works. Maybe. Or maybe they just like being an ass. Internet trolls exist. Maybe they're just fishing for people to get a reaction, and then they can just like, alright, now I'm going to try to make this guy's life miserable. I'm going to bait him into saying something, and then like, I don't know. I never understood the logic behind it.
So DERPIBOORU comments aside, forklift dildos and unicorn flies aside, we've put them up aside now. So you've got because you work on a lot of comics, of course, like that's your main bread and butter, I guess. Like that's what a lot of your main projects are. What is your process for coming up with like a character? Because you've got quite a lot of them in your bank. Like what's your process of coming up with a character for a specific story?
I take a lot of inspiration from real life. A lot of people that I meet and talk to. I like to sort of like take pieces of people's stories, like life stories, and how people react to things in a way. Take inspiration from other fictional characters sometimes too. I think a lot of times I think in terms of archetypes. But those are not necessarily the most common thing. A lot of the time, I just like a certain character, the look of a character in my head or something like that. Like I get this idea and I just work on it, and then it kind of develops as I draw them more. Abel is a character that a lot of people like, and I actually drew him for the first time in like 2014. But I didn't really have a personality or any idea what kind of person he was until I started writing things change. So, for me, the character creation process happens very organically. It happens in many ways. It's not like a thing I just sit down and do, but sometimes it is. Can happen
sometimes
a lot
it is.
of ways.
Sometimes it is spontaneous. Other times it's
Yeah.
quite a long process.
Yeah, like for example, Culpa was designed. Was actually my is actually like a gender bent version of my own Pony-Sona back in the day, and that Pony-Sona was made in that color scheme for them to be easy and quick to draw. So I would have a white background and a black liner and just doodle, and everything would be black. The horn would be black, the hair would be black, and the clothes would be black. So I could just, scribble it in. I didn't need to change anything, and just at the end, I added teal eyes because I like teal. Teal is my favorite color. So there, I'm done. And then I gender bent Culpa, and I gave her latex tentacles, and one thing led to another, and now it's the most difficult character to draw.
Because it's the amount of things you kept adding to the character.
Yeah, she's very complicated now. Her silhouette is difficult. Her hair is impossible. 3D model, the guy who made a 3D model of her was frustrated, to say the least, when he tried to translate her hair to 3D, because it really doesn't really work in 3D and stuff like that. So, and a lot of people that I've talked to, other artists, they say they try to draw Culpa, but she doesn't look right, and that's because she's just a weird and kind of difficult character to draw, at least for a lot of people. Not necessarily for me, but she's definitely one of my more complicated characters to draw. And I mean, there's also the instance of Dead Meat's design was like her thing with the pain and the pleasure thing. That was just like, that was the idea that I had, but her design was just something I doodled one time, and then I figured, you know what, this will be her. So kind of like Legos, bits and pieces that you kind of, you have the design, you have the personality and the story or the concept in the middle, and you have all these loose pieces, and then you figure one of them out, and then you can kind of see if they fit. And that is also a way that I can do it. Another example is Meloria, which is the biblically accurate angel that I made, which was purely coincidental. She does not have any story whatsoever. I just my friend Phoenix told me, hey, you should draw like a biblically accurate angel. I'm like, you know what, I've been brewing on that idea for a while. And 1 hour, I just doodled the first picture of her, and now it's my most liked post on Twitter, I think, with like 104 likes, which is, and I average at about 20, so I'm very happy with that.
That's very good.
Yeah.
I don't. It's like I just find it like I don't know how you find it like so easy to come up with like characters in general. Like I find, of course you would know this already, I find it difficult to think of anything compelling to put onto paper or into 3D really.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd never to think about if the character will be compelling or not, or if people will like it. That's not a part of my process at all. I think if you're going to make a successful character that a lot of other people like, you kind of have to like it yourself first. You know, you have to be said that, you know what, I want to make this character for whatever reason, for yourself, for because you need it for a story or something, whatever. And then you go do that, and then you show it to people, hear what they have to say, if they have anything to say at all, and just try to take that with you. I am very fortunate that whenever I make a character and I post it, people usually interact with it and say what they mean, or what they think of. So maybe that's one of the reasons why I make so many characters, because usually people have good things to say about them. But I don't think you need to think very hard about making a character. Because a lot of people say, like, oh yeah, but I want my character to be good, or I want it to be amazing or something. I mean, like, just make another. Like, if it doesn't work out the first time, you can always rearrange the design later on. That might be more difficult if you're a 3D artist. I don't know. I don't really know how 3D works, at least in terms of sketching and stuff like that. But as a two-dimensional artist, it's really no problem at all. That being said, I am told that I am a really fast draw, like a really fast artist. I draw really fast, so might not be the same story.
You do an awful lot of
Yeah,
lot of concepts thrown about everywhere.
I think the best compliment I've ever gotten was from Phoenix, and I was just like, I don't quite remember what we were talking about, but we were talking, and then I just said, just draw it, man. And he's like, yeah, but I'm not a machine like you.
Right.
And I was like, oh, thank you, man. that was a very good compliment.
You do spend an awful lot of time, like, drawing hours and hours on end. Like, I've seen, like, on Discord, like, drawing into the early hours, like, just always working on something, like, all sorts of things.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds depressing, but the only thing that really makes me happy at all is drawing. Which I don't. In my head, it sounds depressing, but really, it only means that I kind of found my passion. This is what I want to work with, you know. Or I don't want to work with it, but this is what I do when I have free time, and I want to create things because I love to see people react to stuff I made. And when you get messages from people saying, like, oh, I love your art, or your art is something I look forward to, or something like that, you know, like, it really makes me happy. And nowadays I like to, whenever I get a compliment or something, I take a screenshot of it and I put it in a folder so I can look at it again when I'm feeling down or unmotivated or anything like that. And I think that people, and I encourage other people to do this, because this has really helped me get my productivity up. People are jealous of my productivity. I'm like, I gotta be more productive.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I find that very difficult sometimes when it comes to, like, especially in the 3D space, where it's generally a lot more time consuming, I find, anyway, to put a picture out there. But I don't know how people are, well, I guess SFM artists, like, I've been using it for years, but like, they can knock out, I don't know, dozens of pictures in a week, where I could throw dozens of hours at just a single piece and still not be finished.
Mm-hmm.
Like, comparatively, and that can be quite a demotivational thing at times. But yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's different kinds of artists out there, and I'm definitely more like fast and loose kind of artist. You know, like, I don't spend a lot of time making things look perfect. I more just kind of want the idea to be out there and for people to enjoy it as fast as possible. At least that was my intention at the start, anyways, just to be able to create ideas and pictures as fast as possible. But it's developed into a style now, and it has happened that I've drawn something and I'm like, this doesn't look rough enough, and I've just kind of tried to adjust it a bit, and then sometimes I'm just been like, you know what, no, this is not working out, and I have to draw it over again, basically. Which is kind of the problem with my art, is that like if something doesn't look right at the end of the process, there's not much to salvage from it, while a more like line art and clean focused artist will see if something doesn't work in the sketching phase and then scrap that, but they can also like make a picture work in the end. At least some can. I mean, this doesn't apply to everyone, of course, but in general, this is my experience from talking with other artists, is that more like time-consuming artists can save a picture, while I might have to discard a lot of ideas, just because trying to make it work in what I've already spent time on is going to be more time-consuming.
Like to correct what you've done rather than like to discard it and start again.
Yeah. So
is that a common thing, like getting discarding artwork for you, or because like you don't like an idea or a concept?
Yeah, I mean, it happens. I wouldn't say regularly, but it definitely happens. Sometimes I have an idea and it just doesn't work out the first time, and then I discard the idea. And well, I don't discard the idea, but I discard the things I've been working on, and then I don't discard them. I just kind of put them elsewhere. And then one day when I'm like, okay, I'm not really sure what I want to work on today, and then I go through my list of unfinished projects, and I see that thing, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll give this another shot, and then it might turn into a better picture.
I guess productivity is like always I guess like not. I certainly struggle with productivity. I guess like, and there's all sorts of different factors that lead into it. Some people can do art really quickly, and other folks have to take a long time for various reasons. I'm probably like one, like with attention to detail, I suppose. I think J Dash is the one who's like maybe like this, I suppose, because like, I speak to him regularly, but like he teaches me an awful lot of stuff about Blender, but like he's sort of like very methodical in the way he does things, and like he makes you aware of things that you weren't aware of before, like in terms of the little details, and like the little details is what I can't help but not noticing, I guess, now, like the way the characters hold things, or like how the way the light reflects off things, and so it's like all that stuff takes an awful lot of time compared to like my first piece, I suppose. Like that one, I think I did that in about a week or something. But like now all my other pieces take about 3 or 4 weeks. So that's why you don't see a lot of stuff from me comparatively.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak a lot for 3D artists other than what other 3D artists have told me. And I think an example that a lot of people put up is there's one, the animators in the fandom. There's one that makes use of a lot of recycled animation rigs or cycles or whatever it's called. He's basically animated one thing once, and he's reusing that same animation with different characters in different scenarios over and over again.
Right.
And comparatively to his contemporaries that are getting the equal amount of attention, he gets a lot more attention because he can put out a lot more content quickly than the people that spend a lot more time making a actually better product, at least in terms of just how it looks. So I don't know. It's a weird balance to kind of go between, because like I'm not saying that this guy is not like, I'm not saying this guy is bad at it at all, but I think like he kind of has the same design philosophy as me, you know. There's a lot of things to make, and we want them to be made quickly, more so than for them to be made more so for them to be made properly, painstakingly done the same thing over and over again. The difference being, of course, that I don't really copy my line work and just put a different character in it. I don't know where I was going with this.
Like your character here, I suppose. Like that's that sort.
Oh, no! Don't get me started on your character here.
I thought that's what you were going into. Like your character, you're not a fan of that sort of.
I wasn't.
Format.
I wasn't going into it, no. But
that's what I came to. But yeah, if you want to discuss that, go ahead.
Okay, so there's nothing inherently wrong with your character here. I guess it depends on your business practice around it. There's obvious criticisms about it, like saying you're only doing your character here because you want the most possible money for the little amount of work as possible. A lot of people find that to be scummy somehow. But personally, that's not the problem I have with it. The problem I have with it is that, it kind of becomes boring after a while.
Yeah.
There are arguments for it, and I'm not knocking anyone for doing it. I'm so tired of seeing them.
Yeah.
I'm tired of finding an artist I like and just see they made one cool piece and then it's like YCH after, ad nauseum. And I'm so much more interested in seeing what the artist wants to do with their own characters or already established characters, and they're just drawing all these other characters that I don't know, I don't care about. There's no context for them. Sometimes the characters don't even fit. If it's like a 3 your character here piece and there's 3 people that get each slot and they have no relation to each other and the colors of the characters don't even match well, it becomes boring. That's the best way to say it, I think. So
you never do like your character here with like one of your characters, like for, I don't know, like $80 or whatever. You wouldn't do that.
I mean, I won't say that I will never do it, because from the way I understand it, a lot of the time artists kind of do your character here as, it's sort of like a leftover thing. Like they have a post they didn't really love, so they'll just put it up as your character here, and maybe someone will buy it. That kind of thing I don't really like. I think if you're not happy with a drawing, you shouldn't use it for anything. I think you should start over. I think if you're gonna make your character here, you have to kind of make one. If you have to actually do it the way it's supposed to be and make an idea. And then there's definitely people that do it right, but there's all too often just to be a random post
like copy paste.
Yeah. And then the thing that I really have no respect for is people doing it, selling your character here multiple times.
Yeah, like more than 2 or 3, I guess.
I saw some person sell the same YCH for like maybe like 6 or 7 times, and I was just like, dude, fuck you. Like, seriously, this is bad for your customers. This is bad for you. This reflects badly on you, and it sucks for your customers, because the one thing your character here have going for it is that you auction this specific post, and they can get it, and they're the only ones that have it. Now there's 7 of them that have it. The draw is lost. I don't get it. Why do people do this? But I mean, saying this at the end of this is gonna sound kind of weird, but like my art doesn't lend itself well to your character here. My style doesn't function well with it, so I prefer myself to do custom commissions instead. And to anyone that's listening that's thinking of buying art, I highly recommend finding an artist that is approachable, that you can get to know. If they interact a lot with their audience, that's very good. And then after you kind of know them, or at least are able to exchange words with them without it being awkward, then you ask for a commission, and you ask for a custom one, because you'll likely get a better picture for a lower price most of the time. There are, of course, your character heroes that are dirt cheap, but I'm like, I guess if the artist, you really like them and they're in need of the money, yeah, sure, buy it. But
that's the thing, is it's not quite clear cut, is it? It depends on the motivation behind it, and it's not always greed. As I say, I can't really. I've purchased your character here like very early, but this is before. I think I bought a few especially when I was starting out, like using Blender and stuff, because I was still learning the software. But like, it's for people who make, like, you know, who are artists exclusively, who do it for a living. I can understand it from that perspective. Like, because me and you, well, I don't do this for a living. I do this like as a hobby on the side thing. I'm just a loser who does this on the side. So I can just disappear into the sunset, like, if I want to be poetic about it, and just I can just fuck off and then just disappear without a trace. And like, it wouldn't matter, because like, I don't do art for a living, at least at the moment anyway, if I ever wanted to. But it's for people who who have to make ends meet. It sort of becomes a necessity for some people. I do understand that from that perspective. So it's not that clear cut. I don't think that's the issue. Some people do use it just to copy and paste, done, stamp, done. Like quite a few SFM artists do it, and like, you can see, like, you're using the same pose, the same body over and over again. It does get boring. Again, I can understand from that perspective as well. But yeah.
I mean, of course, I mean, like, everything you have to kind of see the situation on. I'm talking mainly in broad strokes, with how I think a lot of artists, at least in their later years, on their internet, when they've kind of developed themselves to be good enough to have commissions and have people interested in art, and they have developed, you know, their following, and they don't have to like make big splashes, you know, to kind of get more attention. They might stagnate a bit in creativity, and that, you know, like, they don't have to try as hard anymore. At least the motivation for trying harder kind of disappears. And I think that's kind of sad. So I suppose, like, maybe I was a bit harsh earlier, and
no, it's like, because you're an artist, you're directly connected to that, and like, you might have been affected by that more so than other people would.
I suppose it's just like I'm always a lot more interested in other artists' perspectives and how they would do things differently, and that's why I find personal art to be a lot more interesting than, say, fan art or commission work. And I think that commission work can be very interesting if the commissioner has an interesting idea. There's plenty of examples of that. I just think that when the YCH stuff comes up, a lot of that stuff falls by the wayside, because you're restricted to the pose. There's less, you know, there's less customization available for it, and it just becomes, I don't know, it feels almost synthetic in a way. Not sure how to describe it.
No, that's fair. That's a fair assessment.
There are also people that, like in the furry fandom, for example, where there are YSHs that have been like come up to ridiculous prices, you know, and those artists have completely become reliant on YCHs to basically live their lives in the way that they want to, because they make so much money off it that it's you know, like, they start offering down payment options. You know, like, some artists have these pictures that go to such ridiculous prices that they'll be collecting money off of them for a year, maybe even longer sometimes. And I mean,
and they get it up front as well, because like, if you're good enough, you'll make the bank. You know,
yeah.
I can't.
So like, there's people out there having passive income, more or less, from furry porn, and while that is amazing and should be celebrated, it's also like, I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, like, sure, it's fantastic that they're making money off their art, but you know, it's strange. It certainly is strange, and like, people kind of like condemn it for some reason in the arts community, and I think that's motivated entirely by jealousy myself. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I mean, yes, I am jealous of it, of course, but I'm not gonna knock it the same way a lot of other people do. But I will say that, you know, the creative process is kind of gone.
Like compromised in some
way. Maybe compromised is the right word for it. Yeah, and I think what you essentially have is a less interesting product, even though it's very important. You know, like there's a certain amount of intrigue you can have with this kind of thing, and even that is compromised. And I think I think it's sad to see artists kind of devolve into only doing YCH. You know, gone are the personal projects, or, you know, the exploration of their characters, or making comics or animations and stuff like that. It's just whoever has the most money gets to be in my pictures. And yeah, I think that's kind of the problem I have with it. You know,
it's difficult, isn't it? Difficult to justify. It's like suspiciously wealthy furries, isn't it? Where do they get all the money from, I wonder? Like, they're all IT professionals, I guess.
They probably don't, you know, they probably don't spend their money on a lot of things.
No, they don't.
Typically, you know, they're single, they don't have kids, they don't have, or I mean, they might not be single, but they don't have kids, and they have no plans of adopting children, so... maybe they don't have, I don't know, they've already bought a house, they're still working and getting paid handsomely, so... Why not spend it on the artists that have jacked off multiple liters of cum to throughout the years, I suppose? You know, that's the thing that I want to.
I just took a swig of tea then, and then like you like nearly spat it out. I went down the wrong way. Thank you.
When I die, you know, I want to see, like, there's a stat screen. And I want to see how many gallons of whatever fluids I am responsible for spilling.
Oh, jeez, no.
That would be so fun to see, man.
Oh, no.
And then I can, like, start over with, like, perks where I'm, like, a better artist than I am now.
What prestige, like in Call of Duty? Like, get to level 10. Oh, that's an awesome idea. You get to like level 10, like, oh, okay, like I won't be as good at art for the next round, but like I level up quicker.
Yes.
I guess people can. The issue isn't, for me personally, like artists can charge what they want for art. Like if you can get, I don't know, whatever you want to charge, like $700, $800, as some artists will charge, and they will get it, then go for it. I mean, but again, there's always I guess the ethics behind it. Like if is it like you're paying an awful lot for just a simple? It's an awful lot just for a single piece of art, and then like you're sort of funding, like it might not be a good idea. Like throwing that sort of amount of money in just a single thing that like could be spent elsewhere. But you know what I mean, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it just becomes a weird. It's a weird thing when you have an artist that has a single commission prices at around 150-ish. You know, they're a very decent, very, very good artist at that point. I think if you can charge 150 for your art, then you're good. You have a following. There's demand. You can have 150, even more probably, maybe 300. But they will be doing YCHs that kind of end up in 800, 900, even thousands, of dollars. And therein lies the question, why on earth would the person be charging $200 for a custom commission, but they would be fine with YCHs going all the way up into the thousands?
Yeah, it's easy just to do a YCH for 4 times the price, and
all
then
of
rather than do a custom.
All of a sudden, there's no reason anymore to do custom commissions. Right? So, there is an argument to be made for and to be made against it, and it's not a clear-cut case if it's good or bad, I think. Because, for the customer, it's like, or client, I guess it's a better word for it. If you get a custom one, you're getting something more that you want, probably. But there's also the case for people like some of my patrons that have no creative energy themselves. I don't believe that's real, but some people have not developed creative skills throughout their life and are not going to start now. And they're not going to start to learn to be creative at this point in time. So they don't have any ideas for me to draw. So they just tell me to take the money because they enjoy my content no matter what. They just want to support the content. And, I draw every day. So for them, it's a worthwhile investment. And thank you very much for that. So for them, or people like that, YCHs would be better because, as a customer, you can see what you're getting up front. You can value, will my character look good in this position? Am I interested in this? And the answer might be yes. So you might be interested and you might get in the auction thing, or maybe if the artist has a soul, I guess they have an auto buy function that you can just buy it outright.
Yeah.
It's kind of mean to say that they don't have a soul if they don't have an auto buy, but yeah, you get. I am being overly mean for comedic purposes. But yeah, so I mean that's an argument to be made for why it's good. So, but there's also the argument that why it's bad, that we have now sort of discussed that ad nauseum. So
it's a difficult one, isn't it? Like, I'll ask you this then. Like, what would you charge then for what would you charge for your commissions then on average then, or what's your process? Do you do them like on like a monthly basis where you have like 2 or 3 commissions, or how do you? Was it through Patreon, like behind a Patreon sort of system, or how do you go about it?
I charge on average about 50 for each picture that I draw. I'm not really all that interested in taking sketch commissions or anything like that. And so no, like I usually charge 50, and if they want anything specifically extra, that's going to be time consuming. We discuss the price of it. And then there's a flat rate for extra characters and stuff like that. So, I mean, the most expensive commission I've ever done is probably like $100. Oh no, actually, the most expensive commissions I've ever done is $400 actually.
Ooh, that's not bad going. Okay.
No, but the thing was that it wasn't exactly supposed to be that way. Initially, what happened was that I was going to make a the fucking the girl on the sofa with the black guys behind her meme going around.
Yeah,
pretty popular. I was supposed to be a 6-character commission by one of my Patreons. You can see this on DERPIBOORU if you go to my tag and just put shark pony or something next to my name and it'll pop up. It was supposed to just be 6 characters, so we discussed the price. I don't know what we came up with, but they paid that price. And then all of a sudden I started posting these. I posted these work in progress pictures of it in my server because a lot of the people's characters in my server were in on the picture, so everybody wanted to see it. And then people were like, "Oh my god, can I be in there? Can I be in there?" And then I was like, "You know what? Sure, I'll draw an extra because this is a fun thing for my little community in my little Discord." So I started adding people, and then when I was done, the guy who commissioned it was like, or the girl who commissioned it was a female actually. She just paid for everyone that I added as well, which was not part of the deal, but she did pay an extra $150 for it, I think, just because she wanted me to get paid for my work. So that's the story of my most expensive commission.
Oh, it gets a bit more ethically difficult than when that sort of situation happens, like when like the sort of the costs asked when realistically the cost should be spread amongst all the clients, I guess, but then one decides to pay for the whole caboodle, I guess, which is a nice gesture. I
don't know, the person we're talking about here is very generous, and they constantly say that the community I've made is something that gets them through their day, and it's something they rely on, and they feel like paying for that and is something that they feel good about. If they didn't, they would feel bad about it. So, and apparently they have a lot of money, and like I told them every time, you can literally come to me anytime and ask me for a drawing. I've told them several times to, dude, there's like $400 worth of money in my Patreon dedicated to you now. I want to draw you things, but they're just, no. Draw your comic, focus on your personal things, because that's what I want. They don't necessarily want their own personal art. They want me to continue the stuff that they started supporting me from the first place.
For the community itself. It's sort of like a contribution sort of thing.
So, I mean, like, that is something I personally have struggled with, like kind of accepting that there are people that just want to give me money for the stuff I put out for free, for anyone to look at. I just thought that, that was not moral, but I mean, in certain cases, especially in this case, I don't think it's bad. I think it's kind of just complying with their wishes, really.
Well, yeah, exactly. You're not forcing people to contribute to what you have, because as I say, but I can understand where you're coming from as an artist. Like, you feel sort of obligated to continue because of the people who are wanting to, without any attachments, just give you financial backing, basically.
I don't really feel obligated to continue. I feel like when I put something out and people look at it, I feel like that's when the transaction ends. I don't feel like, if I put out a comic, I don't feel like I have to conclude it for anyone, because it's kind of my prerogative to do. The reasons why I want to work on these comics now is because I want to finish them.
Yeah.
Personally, and I will take my time doing it, and I will only update them when I think the update is correct. Like when it works. But when people want to support me financially, I feel like that's their own personal decision. And especially in the case of people giving me money for putting out the things that I put out regularly, then that's completely their decision, and they're the masters of when that starts and when that ends. I'm just happy it's happening, but I will try to do what I can to reimburse them for some of it, because I feel like when you're that kind of person, I feel like you should have something at least. And I do draw stuff for them occasionally. We talk a lot in our Discord, and they'll say something funny or a joke or something, or hey, this works with this character, and I'll do a quick doodle, and if the doodle is good, I might finish it later. That is often what happens. If somebody is like, oh, look at this thing right here, this looks painful, hey, Ten, why don't you draw dead meat interacting with this object or something like that. That is a scenario that could likely happen, and I don't know. I feel like that this, it's more of a agreement between friends, more so than client to producer.
The relationship is definitely different.
Yeah, like, so, I mean, if they were my clients, yes, I would be treating them terribly, but they're not really my clients. They're more like my friends. At least that's the way I view them, and I think that's the way they view me. So I feel like that's that the morals are different in this circumstance.
So it is a question for you then. Like, have you ever been in like a situation where you felt like the relationship was, I'm trying to phrase it in a proper way, basically we're in a situation where someone might have approached you, like to say, like, could I commission you for something, and they use that as a way in to get at you, or try to get favors from you, or try to manipulate you in some way. I've heard that to happen to a few people. Like if I, like, for example, if I didn't know you before, as I do now, but like if I come up to you, like, can I commission you something, and then like all of a sudden, because I've given you money for a commission, like I automatically think like you're my friend, when that's not the case. I guess that sort of situation.
Yeah, it has happened, but it hasn't really affected me that much. I suppose I'm a little bit more assertive than the people that you're talking about with stuff like that, because I have had people that kind of have tried to force their way in to my I have the mystical and very private Discord server that's kind of become a pretty exclusive club right now. A lot of people want in there, but I specifically only put people in there that I think will fit in there, because it's kind of like a fragile ecosystem. I feel like it needs to be right, and if some people have certain behavioral things, like some people are very more political than others. Some people are more likely to be offended by people saying something, and that will cause a lot of drama, and that will make people less likely
rock the boat. Yeah,
will be less likely to come participate in the future. And so I will have to. Sometimes I've had difficult conversations with people. Said like, I have nothing against you as a person, but I don't think you fit in this group. But that's also never been a person that I've personally known very well. It's been somebody that I interacted with every now and again, and sometimes just a person that's commissioned me something that I don't know at all. But most of the time it's people, like my main problem is that people ask me for commissions and I say, yeah, sure. And then they ask for the price at the end of our discussing, and then I say the price and then they vanish. And I think that's
Give me free stuff, Ten.
Yeah, it's like, I suppose they expect my art to be worth a lot less than that, or that I charge a lot less, but
I think that's an age-old thing, isn't it? Like you go, that's like not a coming of age. What's the phrase I'm looking for? It's not baptism of fire. What the fuck am I? What metaphor am I thinking of?
Rite of passage.
Rite of passage. Thank you. That's the one I'm looking for. Yeah, so it's a rite of passage for artists. Like you start offering commissions, and then like people want stuff for free or like for barely anything at all. I think that's a common thing. You haven't made it until like you get one of those, and like
yeah, I mean like $50 is what I charge for full renders, and that is approximately 2 or 3 hours of work, not counting consultation with the customer and going back and forth. That's like 3 hours of drawing and rendering. Most of the time, sometimes even longer with specific things. And I think $50 for 3 hours of work is fine. And it's not like work that anyone can do either. I'm not mowing your lawn. I have specially trained.
Fuck that! I don't want to fucking mow the lawn. Fuck
yeah,
that.
like I've spent so much of my life trying to hone this skill in, and I'm giving you access to it for what I think is a fair price. And if you don't think that's a fair price, then find someone else, right? Like one of the interactions I had once was like a person said that, oh, but I didn't think it would be that expensive, and I'm like, $50 for this is not necessarily expensive, dude. And he's like, yeah,
that's
but I see,
that's at the lower end generally.
Yeah, and people say like, oh, but I see other people charge less for art I think is quote unquote better. I'm like, okay, first, that's really rude to say. Secondly, then go commission them. But then it's like, but I want art from you, and I'm like, well, then you're gonna have to pay for the art.
Then pay, motherfucker.
Yeah, just pay. Like, there's obviously something special about the art that I make for you. Then you're gonna have to pay the special price. That's why brand name Coca-Cola costs more than fucking RC Cola with like, or whatever it's called, like or like, Dr. Pepper is more expensive than
Dr. Popper or something.
or like what's it called, Professor Spice or
Professor Cola or whatever.
Yeah,
also there's fucking shitloads of those.
That's just the thing. Like, I mean, like, I have a unique style. At least I'm told so by a lot of people, and then you're just gonna have to deal with that. If you can't pay for it, then save up or get someone else to do it, because I think that's like the worst experience I have with the clients at all. Or I mean, there are clients that are like never happy with anything I make. There was one guy once that wanted me to draw a creature from one of his dreams, and it was just so poorly explained to me, and I gave him
such
like
a nebulous thing as well.
yeah, like I so poorly explained what he wanted and what it was, and I just tried to draw it like maybe 6 or 7 times. And I mean, I'm not really proud of this, but I was a lot younger then. But I just fucking stopped talking to him. Like at some point, like I just knew that this wasn't going anywhere, and you know what? I sort of forgot about it, but it seems like he did too, because he never like pinged me again about it. So I had a feeling that he kind of like wanted to get the work in progress and then just kind of leave.
Maybe.
So maybe, I don't know. If you're listening, then send me a message and we can talk about it. But that was like 4 years ago or something like that. It was on DeviantArt, I think so.
Yeah, like I had a similar situation where like I commissioned somebody like for a sequel to one of the pieces I commissioned. I won't name the name, of course, but I never got part 2. I paid for part 2 and never got it. So it was one of those where like they never, like I send messages and stuff, but I never got any responses back. But I've gotten over that. But like it's one of those where like you ain't gonna get any more work from me, no chance. But
yeah, I mean, in my case, that he didn't pay me at all, so I mean, I just stopped talking to him. If I never, like morally, I would never take the money and just go away. I think that's really fucking bad. I guess I have had made a commission for someone whom at a later date had done something that I thought was so bad that I just straight up refunded their commission even after I made it.
Yeah, that's probably the
so
easiest thing
I was
to do.
like, you know what? I think you're such a shitty person that I don't even want your money.
You keep it and the commission as well. Just go away.
Yeah, keep it. I don't want your fucking money.
Don't keep your money. Like don't. That's all you're getting from me, a free commission. Go away.
Yeah, I guess it's the ultimate kind of fuck you. Like, yeah, I know I've done work for you, but I don't want
it. Keep it. Like it's not. Don't need your money.
Yeah.
Because you just go away. Just it's a kind way of saying, fuck off.
Yeah.
Just go. Yeah. Is that a common thing that still happens, or is that not so much of a problem these days? Does that still happen?
I mean, nowadays I kind of just say that my commissions are closed all the time, and I only take commissions from people I know well. I very, very rarely take commissions from elsewhere.
Like very, very selective now.
Yeah, I am, and because every time I try to take commissions from somebody new, there's a lot more work that goes into it.
Like admin, I guess.
Yeah. So right now it's like I only hear out people that message me despite me saying my commissions are closed. You know, like if they come to me and say, you know, oh, when do you think you might be available for commissions again or something like that? I hear those people out, and if I like their idea and they seem genuine, I say, you know what, somebody canceled on me, you can have it, right?
Yeah.
But that's just like kind of taking on extra work for me, because I have a queue almost constantly, and when I do that, it's just because, you know, I appreciate that you reached out to me and you wanted to actually talk with me, because you obviously want this. So I see it more like doing a favor for someone. But the commission clause is more to sort of like, I guess, ward off the not so serious clients that come around. It's always people that like, oh, yeah, I'll have the money later, or blah blah blah, or like will ghost me when I say the price or something like that. You know, I just kind of want those guys to just fuck off, because it's a waste of time.
See, I'm sort of like I'm terrified of like ever considering opening commissions because of all the, I don't know, like it's sort of there's a lot of moving parts to consider, I suppose. Like, how much do I want to charge? How long is it going to take me?
Mm-hmm.
Am I good enough to really bring this particular idea to pass and all that stuff? I don't know. I just find it easy. Like, nah, I'm not taking commissions right now. I'm still learning. I don't know, but that's probably a separate issue in and of itself. Like, I still don't, what I'm capable of as an artist. There's a lot of better people who can do better stuff. I guess that's sort of self-conscious all the time.
Uh, I don't know. Like, I think being ready for taking commissions is a very personal thing, and I highly recommend that people try to get comfortable with it um, via your own community that you've probably developed by the time you're able to take them.
So what advice would you give people thinking about like taking commissions? What sort of process do you go through to say, yeah, I'm ready to start take commissions? How do you go about it?
Um, I mean, I was just asked by someone to do it, if I would do it, and for how much, and so on and so on. So,
It was that simple.
yeah, and I just started doing it because, I mean, at the time I was sort of like I don't know, I just had a lot of confidence with my art back in the day, and I feel like you should probably get started with it at a time where you feel a little bit confident about it. Um, but that's only if you like. Don't open commission this because you feel like you should.
Like for the sake of it.
Yeah, like just for the sake of taking commissions. I think you should take the commissions as find a purpose for it. Like, do you want to just make some extra money, or do you have like a specific goal in mind? Personally, I just do it so that I can buy myself beer, basically.
It's beer money.
Yeah, basically, like it's like I do a couple of commissions, and that lightens the load on my wallet when I want beer, basically. So like,
Nice and simple.
yeah, I mean, like I go to school, and one of my school friends is like, "Hey, we're having a party next week," and I'm like, "Okay, fine." And I go on my server. Anybody want a commission?
Yo, I need some beer money. Can I get $50?
Yeah, I mean, and I just think that's. I think honestly, with how you want to make money is always a good thing. I think, if if a guy, it's like there's like a guy on the street that's like has a sign that says that, "Hey, I need money for weed." I'm more likely to give him money than some guy coming up to me saying he needs food or something like that, because I know that money isn't going to food. Like the
the guy asking for weed's more honest.
yeah. I think it's when I just say, yeah, I want some. Does anybody need a commission? Because I need some extra money. I think that's all the honesty you really need about it. So yeah, don't take commissions just for the sake of it. It's not worth it. It's not worth taking commissions just because you feel like you have to. Like all the big artists take commissions. Like, don't do that. That is fucked up. Don't do it, because like commissions are, at least at the level that most artists are always sort of a losing deal for the artist himself. I feel like the client usually gets a lot more out of it than the artist does. So
yeah.
So you're $50, but like PayPal takes a cut too, and so you end up in a deficit. But it's more like a quick and easy money kind of thing for me, at least. That's sort of what it is. And yeah, I mean, it's something that's nice to have in your repertoire. I think it's nice to kind of develop relationships with clients and have people that typically buy a lot from you. I think that's a good thing to have, like just in general. If you're an artist, just have some people that are interested in your art. So but like above all else, just build a community, or try to get a following somehow, or get into a community somewhere and develop some relationships with clients. That's the best way to go about it. Opening commissions and hoping for just random people to come up to you and say they want the art, and getting disappointed when it doesn't happen or something like that, it's kind of the wrong way to go, but it's usually how it goes anyway. I don't think any up and coming starting artists really will heed any advice they get anyways, because just speaking from experience, artists are very they rely on their own judgment a little bit too much.
Like, I know, not free and easy. That's not the phrase.
No, it's like
Gung ho is that the phrase? Gung ho, I guess.
I don't know. It's like people that don't want to listen to other people's advice. They're kind of
Maybe not. That's not it. Not it.
being gung ho is like having a good work ethic. Like, yes, we're going to work. Having a positive attitude towards doing a lot of.
Some people, I guess, some artists are like that. I think the big trap though with commissions is like some artists like take on far too many at once.
Yeah.
And that they sort of they burn themselves out because they're in like a desperate situation. They're trying to like meet a really like unrealistic deadline they've set for themselves, or the client have set for them, maybe.
Yeah.
And that's a common trap I see a lot of artists fall into.
You can also lose a lot of your artistic identity if you do too many commissions. I think if you for years and years just do commissions and commissions, and do like art pieces that are mainly for developing an audience, like making stuff that reaches out to a broader audience. If you just do those kinds of art pieces that are not like commissions and these fan art or broad art pieces that appeal to a large audience, you're going to lose your artistic identity at some point, which is a very bad spot to be in. Because, I mean, I don't really think there are that many or any at all artists that started drawing because they wanted to sell commissions.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone looked at, commission drawings and working on this way. I don't think anyone saw that. I was like, oh, I want to get into art so I can do that. It's more like a necessity and a part of a toolbox that you can kind of have with you in life. It's more of a life skill than anything else, I think. It's
kind of like a balancing act, I guess you got to figure out on your own.
Yeah. No, I highly discourage anyone to take commissions unless it's like a comfortable choice or it's necessary. I think it's probably all I have to say about it, really.
And if you've properly planned it out,
I mean, you don't really need to plan all that much as long as you have the confidence that you can meet the requirements to the client you have. You're good, I think. But it's also, you could get lost in a loop of drawing other people's characters, and when you get some time to yourself, you can decide to work on reaching out to other people more so than reaching within yourself to find the things that made you happy to draw in the first place. It's not always the case. Some people are just purely fan art, and like the reason they draw is because they wanted to draw Pokemons when they were small or something like that. But for artists like me, who have their own stories and their own characters and their own ideas about what art should be, it would be a disaster if to like a personal disaster for them to lose that connection within themselves. And I mean, I've seen it happen. There's a lot of people that I know that have turned from people that are had original ideas and interesting stuff that they did, and now all they draw is furry porn, more or less. And it's kind of sad because they got lost in it for the money, and now they can't stop because they have
a lifestyle that feeds off it. That sort of vicious circle thing. It's certainly an interesting thing, isn't it? Like a lot of is that like a common thing that happens, or is it only like a few people you've seen it happen to?
I can only specifically remember a couple of them right now, but I know there's more. The thing is that these people kind of fade away from my life because sadly, their art is less interesting now than it was before. Because I mean that's a personal thing for me, of course. But when they were somebody who I admired or talked to back in the Tumblr days of like Pony Ask blogs and stuff like that, and they would have their own spin on a particular story or something, and they would have their own characters in it. It was interesting to read, and you had that kind of creative energy when you were like 17 or 16 and you didn't really know a lot about art. And then fast forward, Jesus Christ, like 10 or 8 years later, and you're totally lost connection with that creative drive you had before. Now it's all about the sort of the mathematics of the art world, perspective and anatomy. That's like the only things you got going now for you. It's it becomes lovely products. They look great and they serve their purpose fantastically. It's just that there's a loss of personality, I feel, and it makes me sad to see, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing, like a bit depressing, I suppose, but it happens to some people, but it's sort of, I guess some artists get swallowed it's more about the bottom line rather than actually making something interesting, I suppose.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of a thing that I've always been very resistant to, because like I feel I know people that are industry professionals in many different ways, and everything they tell me is like, I wish I could be like you in some capacity. They wish they could just stop thinking about, I need to get more followers, or I need to get more clients, I need to this and that, I need to... That's what they're thinking about all day. What am I thinking about all day? I'm thinking, what kind of kooky thing am I going to do next? What kind of stupid trouble am I going to get into this time?
Take a drink, for God's sake.
I am.
I fall into that trap though a lot though, like with it's sort of like chasing followers and likes and stuff. I'm still sort of in that phase.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like a... I that's why I don't tend to tweet as much on Twitter these days, because like it's sort of like a narcotic to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like trying to get in more. If someone's liked it, or 2-3 likes, or retweets and all that. It's sort of like you get that sort of really quick buzz, I suppose. But that's why I don't tend to do it as much now. I tend to try to keep a distance from it, but it's not always an easy thing to do for me anyway.
Yeah, a guy explained why Twitter was such an awful place for art and why people should avoid it. But it was basically like, you have a collection of people that are starved for attention and dopamine, and you give them basically what is a dopamine slot machine. And the worse they behave, the more they get.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And
totally understand that.
So that's the way a lot of people go, and unfortunately, some people that I looked up to have become these. How can you say it in a nice way? Complete degenerates. I think it's the best way to say it.
Complete degenerates.
Yeah, I think that's a nice way.
In the way they behave.
Yeah, I mean, like when they get on Twitter in the morning, what they want to do is start shit. They want shit stir. Yeah, they will latch on to anything and everything just to get a reaction and to get people talking. You know, clout chasers basically. And,
yeah, cloud chasing.
And a couple of people that I've looked up to have become these kinds of people, and yeah, I lost all respect for them, and that sucks because you did look up to them at one point.
Yeah, and you sort of regret it looking back now.
Yeah, sort of, yeah. But it was really no way around it. They were so huge when I did get into them that there was no way of not getting into them, basically.
Like at the height of the pony fandom.
Yeah, basically like the 2012.
Yeah, around that was like its peak. The show, I guess. I saw on the dumbass that joined near the very end, and no one gives a shit. When did I start doing that? 2018? No, 2020 was when I started making my own stuff with Blender and stuff. But like it's that's like after season 9 had finished, and like I think people are still interested in it, but like it's a lot smaller than it was, and people have like moved on, of course, to other things, which is fair enough. But sort of, I don't know, like, you'd have a different perspective if you were there near the beginning. I don't really know a lot about the drama and what happened in the community and stuff. I know a few stories, but I can't really. I obviously wasn't there to participate or at least view them anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's not like there's a lot of go into, but it's not really like that interesting for people that weren't there at the time, I think. I just think that there was a different environment back then, and it was more focused around being creative and creating content around the show. Now it's just devolved into people making pretty bite-sized content, I feel. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. It's just that, it was different back in the day, and the kind, like, if I made the content I do now back then, it would probably be a lot more popular. Maybe, I'm not really sure, but could be. There was a lot more people around. It was easier to get known, and people were more accepting of new things. But I think now we've all been here so long that we have our own specific ideas about how things should be conducted or how things should be made, so that people have their own ideas, and they will kind of stick to their own things, or they will voice their opinion very clearly, or just stop making things entirely and just be a raving piece of shit on the internet.
Yeah, some people do devolve into, like, it's sort of like the heyday sort of disappeared, and there's a lot just the fragments, I guess, just still hanging around on the internet's ether.
But I just think that the general audience for the more story driven or more I mean, I don't know if you should call it interesting content, but because I mean, porn and stuff is interesting in some way too, but like the more I suppose substantial content, and the content that has more to do than just getting people off, there is a fandom for it, but my god, is it silent. It hardly interacts with anything else in the fandom, and it's hovering out in its own sort of bubble outside. And I was shocked to see when I got into the Discord of the Canterlot's Comics Discord, and there's like 2 people talking, but there's like 100 members.
But they're just observing, they're not actually
taking there's like
part
70 text channels, and like half of them are untouched. Nobody's sending a message in it, and it's, I don't know. I don't know what to do with this. Is this really what it is? Is it that people that consume more substantial content just don't interact with it at all?
Or maybe just terrified just to interact in general, I guess. Maybe it's a shyness thing.
Perhaps. I mean, a lot of people have come to me and said that, they've been scared to interact with me. And I'm like, why? Why are you scared of interacting with me?
I can understand that. I can understand. Not from this perspective now, because I know you now, but I understand from the outsider's perspective why that might be difficult. Because I can relate to that, because I'm not saying this because I'm talking to you now, of course, but you won't believe us anyway. But blowing smoke up your bottom, as the phrase goes. But like, it's like, I wanted to commission you for something from you before I even met you. This was ages ago. But like, it was like not knowing how to maybe get in contact with you, or put the question across, like, could I commission something from. I can understand that from a perspective, like, because I'm quite a shy person a lot of the time. Like, it's a real difficult thing, just like initiating conversation a lot of the time. It's a bit of a nightmare for me anyway. But I can understand from that shyness perspective if that is a common thing. I
suppose. I mean, I guess it's also the fact that people are very polite too, so they don't want to bother someone.
Yeah,
and I suppose
that's definitely part of it as well.
If you have the content output that that I have. I suppose for an outsider, it would seem like I'm busy all the time, which I am. It's just that
You are a machine. You are a machine.
But I mean, yes, I am busy all the time. But I do make time to interact with my audience. So I just found it kind of strange one time when I made a poll about what people thought about me as a person, and more than 50% of the people that answered that poll said I was intimidating, and I'm like, why? I'm a weirdo on the internet that draws a lot of latex. Why do you think I'm intimidating? You can probably beat me up. Well, maybe not everyone.
It is funny now. Like now, as I say, like he's a clown, folks. He's not. You don't have to be worried about it.
Unless you're scared of clowns.
He's a memer at heart. He is. Like every 2 days he sends me a meme just to wind me up.
I'm a joker for sure. Yeah.
You a joker prankster sort of type. I don't know how you find the time. Like you're a machine making all this art, and then you still find time to fire memes at me at like 2:00 in the morning. I don't know how you do that. It's like, oh, for God's sake, Ten, what you're sending me now? I was like, oh, I ain't got.
I think my favorite one was the Vanish commercial where you could wash off the worst stains, and it washed the Union Jack to the Scottish flag. I think that was fantastic.
Oh, there's loads on there. If I ever wanted to show some of those, there's absolutely loads of them. I'm keeping log of all these just in case I think of something. A cunning retort, I guess, to send back in your direction.
It's not so cunning if it comes like weeks afterwards.
But the trouble is, when I try and think of things like to take the mick out of Norway, I can't think of anything bad to say. Or that song where "What does the fox say?" That's the only.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can make fun of that. Holy shit, that shit's cancer. I apologize on behalf of my country for that shit. Holy shit! Yeah, that's actually really good. You can make fun of that song and those guys.
That only just occurred. That was a huge thing. That was a good about 10 years ago. Like, because I was watching because I'm a big fan of Taskmaster. Like, it's a really popular show over it. But I was also watching just for the crack. I was watching the Norway version. The Norway version is really good. By the way, I really like it. But the band, is it, how do you pronounce it? Ylvis or Elvis? How they pronounce it? Ylvis, right? Okay, those two guys, they're brothers. They're on it. They're on the Norway Taskmaster Series 1, and they're really good on it. So that's how I come across it again.
I mean, those guys are kind of funny, but it's just so irritating that like the worst sketch they ever made was the one that got international attention.
But that's the thing. But looking back at it, looking why they come up with it, it had such innocent origins. It's that nothing malicious at all. But it's sort of that was the thing that got them international fame, really, at the time anyway. But it was awful at the time.
It was awful at the time. It's still awful now.
Well, is it still played on the radio over there? Is it or?
I don't know.
What does the fox say?
Oh my god! It's also like I remember something a funny anecdote.
Mouse goes whatever the fuck.
I remember a funny anecdote about that song because it was insanely popular when it first came out in Norway. Like it was everywhere, and then this was before international attention. And then I remember my girlfriend at the time was a furry, and she hated the song, not because it was annoying, or because it was just not that funny to begin with. She hated it because she knew what the fox made of a sound.
What the fox said.
Yeah, she knew what sound.
She knows this.
She's heard a fox make a sound one time, and therefore it's not funny. And I mean, it's not. And I was like, dude, it's not funny because you know what the sound a fox makes. It's not funny because it's a fucking lame sketch, and the song is annoying. That's why it's not funny.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's fucking amazing.
Oh, I remember I was so annoyed at that.
Completely missed the point.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I know what sound they make. Why are they asking the question?
Are you? Do you have water on the brain?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, good lord. I had forgotten about that.
Oh man, it only just occurred to me, like, oh yeah, I could have used that, but it's too late now. I could have used that to mock you with, but oh yeah, it's too late now.
Yeah, it is.
Missed the opportunity there. I think it's time for the round of DERPIBOORU comments. Have you got any more of that?
Yeah. I got another one.
Yeah. Go on then.
All right. Let's see. This is not. This is another category of DERPIBOORU interactions, which is.
Ooh, another category.
Yeah, this is another category, and this is when the mods are weird as hell.
Category 4 mods is weird as hell.
So I drew this picture of these. I forgot what it was again. It was animation made by a guy named Sean Keller who made these characters Athena and Lustrous, I think. And it's like it's just a sketch I made where because in one episode Athena had like 2 swords. And I was like, why does she need 2 swords? Oh, I know. So I basically drew Athena with her 1 sword, sitting up right there, and Lustrous, the villain of the series, with a sword up her ass, like the hilt of the sword at least, up her ass. In the background, it's just like crying, just kind of scared. And I thought it was like a funny juxtaposition with her being smiling and proud of it, And then I get this message, or like I get this comment by a guy and it just does the quotation mark safe. And then I was like, I tagged this questionable, didn't I? So I said to him, I originally tagged it questionable. I had made mistakes in tagging before, but viewing the tagging history, it seems the person who tagged it safe also tagged anal insertion. And I also said I was not sure if I followed the logic, but turns out they're a mod, so I guess mods are mods. And underneath here you can see that the mod Princess Luna tagged anal insertion, removed questionable, and then added safe, all in the same go.
Oh my god!
So I'm not sure if I follow the logic there. I'm hoping that they wanted to put in suggestive because that's what they did like 2 months later. But they put in safe and they let it sit, and I didn't feel like, I don't really care that much about, DERPIBOORU's fragile ecosystem as it are.
No, you just post up there and then move on to something else.
Yeah, I just post there, I interact with the comments that are worthy of interacting with, and I go on my merry way. I don't really... I respect the tagging system when I make stuff, of course, but whatever the mods decide to do with it afterwards, I couldn't be fucked to care about. So this is just something funny that happens. I hope that they wanted to change it to suggestive and just hit safe by accident, but I don't really know. And so stuff like this happens sometimes, but I'm usually pretty diligent about tagging my stuff, so I don't really interact with mods all that much.
Maybe they meant the sword was safe for insertion. Maybe they meant that.
I mean, the hilt...
the hilt part.
The hilt is probably safe. I mean, that's the safest part of a sword to put up your ass.
Lubricate it. Or it's a magic sword that shrinks.
I doubt it's pleasant to put a piece of metal up your ass. Especially not a jagged piece of metal like a sword hilt, but...
Ouch.
That's just my opinion.
Lube it up a bit first.
Yeah, you better do that.
Well, there's people thinking about that already. Or maybe it'll work if you lube it up. Oh my god.
That's actually one of my pet peeves about some not safe for work artists that will just draw whatever character with an item that they're like associated with. Like, for example, like Applejack. You will frequently have Applejack like put like apple themed anal beads up her ass. And like I've always found that to be such a strange thing to do.
Yeah.
Because like you can't just guys, you can't just put anything up in a hole and expect it to feel good. There's specific anatomy there that kind of has to, you kind of have to shape things in a certain way for it to kind of work with the way your body functions. So I don't think an apple works. And there's actually this very funny comic made by an artist named Stranger Danger from back in the day, where there's a one of the background characters from the show I think it's I forget who it was, but anyways, they go to the doctor and she's like, doctor, I don't know how to tell you this, but and then the doctor's like, you have a object strangely similar to your cutie mark lodged up your vaginal cavity, and she's like, yes, how did you know? And then there's like 3 or 4 other mares with the same problem behind him, and he's like, medical intuition. And like that's the thing that I think about a lot. Like, is
that lampooned it so well.
Like, is there something about this? Like, does this turn you on in a specific way? Why did you have this? It
is weird if you think about it. Trying to pick apart, like, why would that be this? Why would it be the same as the cutie mark?
Yeah, like what?
It wouldn't be though, would it? If they went through the trouble to get the cutie mark dildo or whatever it is made.
Yeah, I mean, like,
themselves.
What if fucking Rarity with her fucking gemstones or whatever she has? We'll cut the bitch up. What the hell? Like you see fucking Fluttershy get fucked by a giant butterfly. That probably exists. Let's be honest. It probably exists.
Getting fucked by Mothra or something.
Yeah, like it only works with certain things, and I've seen it in SFM bar too, where there's like they have like 2B from Nier Automata like shove the hilt of her fucking katana up her ass or something. What is this fascination? Like, what is this? Just taking whatever you have available and just put it in? Because I mean, like, there's a million other things you could do that would make more sense. But I mean, that's just a pet peeve I have. I don't like that particularly. Maybe some people need the extra thematic thing to understand what's going on. Like, if there wasn't the katana of 2B in that animation, maybe people wouldn't know it was 2B. Maybe not. I don't fucking know.
It is odd now you've brought that to my attention. It is a very odd thing.
Yeah, I mean,
an odd trope. A trope. I
suppose a trope would be the correct.
An very odd trope.
Yeah. And I sort of wonder why it happens, but you know, I mean, I guess there's just like a short circuit way of creative process. Just, you know, kind of just default to the easiest routes. But I mean, personally, if I was going to draw anal beads, I would just draw them as anal beads, I think, because fuck drawing a little small, tiny shapes of whatever needs to be. Let's keep it simple.
It's just not enough to have the anal beads. You've got to have your own logo on the anal beads as well.
Well,
it is very odd.
Yeah. Odd. Like, what does it really add to the picture? Like, why did you decide that you had to have a sort like it would be weird though. Like, let's put it as like, would you write your name on your fleshlight? Like
claim it as your own.
Yeah, like imagine you have your own fleshlight. You got
my fleshlight, dude. Oh, we got it mixed up. You see? Oh, that one's got my name on it. You see?
Yeah.
You've been using my fleshlight. Oh, sorry, dude. I apologise.
Like,
I mean, you could in a weird way.
If Lost return to, you know.
I understand. Oh God. Yeah. That's crazy. Oh, so one of the admins, like, you tried to change it, but then they stopped you from changing it. Is that what happened? The tags?
No, like
stop. This is
You have to consult a mod when the mod has tagged something. You have to consult them before you revert their changes, and I just didn't do that because I was like, I'm not gonna take time on my day to talk to a mod about some tagging issue on DERPIBOORU. That I don't have time for that shit.
Just like, fucking you change it then, you fucking prick.
I mean, like, you're a mod. You're the one that's supposed to do this correct.
You're the moderate. You do it. It's your job.
Yeah. And I never got in any trouble with this. I saw it back now, and they had changed it to suggestive. Somebody had gone through the trouble to contact the mod to change it, actually. So, big props to you, I guess.
Yeah, you did your job. Well done.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna do that.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. That's peculiar.
It is. It's quite strange.
So what else you got for us?
Okay, so I got this one, which was like just me testing how I could make a comic, and this became my style of making comics for a while now. And this is a picture of Philly dead meat, like a young version of dead meat. That's basically biting the tail of one of my friend's characters, called
like as a shark.
Yeah, Scylla. Like she's just biting and she's raising her tail and she's hanging on to it, and she's just, chilling out there. It was just like a silly idea. And in the top here, I have a little pun, seafood. That's the title of it.
Yeah.
That's the joke. Like she sees it and she eats it, and that's like it's a kelpie. It's like it's a kelpie character. So, and then I get this comment right here. A guy spelled seafood correctly, and that's it. That's all I wrote.
Oh my god! Why? There's quotation marks on there.
I mean,
to imply that it might be a pun. It might be. It is. Oh, it is.
Like, is he correcting me?
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah. That's what. Yeah. That's what this person is doing. Like, because they don't understand, or they didn't read it. They don't understand. Like, it's a pun on the word "see," as in to see things, or as in see as in the ocean sea. But it's one of them. Like, oh man.
So
completely missed the joke there.
I guess this would be a category of being a grammar Nazi, so to speak, but also being
fall under grammar Nazi.
But also being like a kind of a clueless idiot at the same time.
It's just seafood. It's just like it didn't even capitalize the S. That's what annoys me. Like you couldn't be bothered to like completely miss the point. It's just like. It's just like, that's the joke.
Yeah, basically.
That's one of those things.
Well, I mean, there's not much more to say about this one, so we might as well move on to the next one.
Yeah, what else you got? Okay, next one.
This one is.
I like this one. Like a Viking sort of piece.
Yeah, I am working on a funny little thing called the Latex Religion, and they're mostly like nuns and kind of wacky cultists. But I figured it would be fun that they have a offshoot group that are latex Vikings that are also very religious, and they're very like they go into battle clad in latex, and latex is like it hardens like a nanomachine sun, like yeah. I thought that would be kind of a cool and wacky idea, right? And like she's obviously defeated someone in like a duel of something, and then they had a bet or something, and then this was like purely to annoy, or I mean, I guess turn on certain people in my chat that have fetish for muscular women. I just did this to kind of prod and poke at them, because they really want to lick.
Pretty standard.
Yeah, just drew some abs and wanted them to lick the sweat off her abs, because that's what they wanted to do apparently. And because this comment, I love it so much. It's like, that is a bizarrely specific fetish.
Bizarrely specific?
Yeah, and I mean, like, yes, you're correct. Muscular latex Viking nun, it's pretty specific. But
not bizarre, I wouldn't have said. No?
I don't know. I like this comment, actually. I think it's fun. It's actually on my Twitter banner.
Oh yeah, that is bizarre.
I feel like it's like it kind of describes a lot of my art in a way, and I don't know. I find it very endearing.
Yeah, it I suppose it is your sort of ethos, your aesthetic, I suppose, if you want to call it.
Yeah, I want to be weird. I want to make things that people don't expect. And
bizarrely specific, I guess so. Like that combination.
I guess it depends on where you're coming from, I guess. Like if you're not necessarily used to the strange ways of some people's minds, then maybe it'll be very weird for you. But when it comes to my content at this point in time, No, it's not really that weird. That's just kind of my. This is just kind of my brand. I haven't really done a lot of Viking stuff before, but
I do like that one, like holding a massive sword. Like looks like a double-handed sword, but she's holding it with a single hand. She's that strong.
yeah, she's got Titan grip from World of Warcraft.
I do like that one a lot. I like that piece.
Yeah,
It's fun.
kind of want to draw a picture of her where she's just like being badass instead of being just, like sexualized in a way. I think that could be cool. Frigg definitely needs some more character development. She's a cool character, I think.
Something to consider, anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like that. That's a really fun piece. I do like that. Oh, I like this one. The lighting's amazing. Oh, but there's no forklifts in it. What? What?
Where's the door?
Where's the fucking forklift, man?
Where's the door?
Where's the door? That's what I want to commission from you, like a fucking forklift truck art. I want forklift truck art. I need more of it.
I guess we can end it off on this last piece here.
Yeah, sure. Let's go to that one.
And this is a pretty old drawing I did back in the day, and it's called summoning her tentacles while she's dressed as a latex nun of some sort. This was kind of in the start when I was drawing a lot of nuns. And this is, again, a very positive comments, because I feel like we've done a lot of weird and negative ones. I feel like we should do some...
Yeah, just to balance it out.
Some positive ones here. Because you do sometimes get funny and helpful comments. And this background pony here says, latex tentacle nun mare. Why, hello there, new fetish I didn't know I had. You know?
You've awakened something in this.
Yeah,
person.
and it kind of ties into the bizarrely specific fetish thing from earlier, because, like, you know, that's kind of what I do. I awaken things in people that they don't know were there.
Very tenacious of 5 years ago. That's crazy.
Yeah, but I suppose it's time we wrap this up, because I think we're just kind of rambling now.
Yeah, I will have to cut this down. I'll cut this down, but like, it's been swell talking to you. Thank you so much for coming onto my podcast. I don't know who's going to be on next time. I'll find out who anyone who's interested. Really, do get in touch with me if any of you artists out there want to come on the show. This has been more of a rambly special, but I don't really care. I'll cut it down to how I see fit. But thank you so much for coming on, Ten. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for listening.